then.
Hello. Hi, Alan. Hi.
You were away?
Hi, Alan. Oops.
You were away?
No, we had all these family things going on, so
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Good.
like, yeah, if family says do X, you better do it.
Jump? How high? Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You want to be ingratiated to the family.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, It is 8:00 tonight, right?
We're Dala, we're Hay today.
Oh, hey, good. Okay. Hi,
Yeah.
Mario.
How are you?
I'm good. Okay. I like this Gomorrah much better than the other one.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of much easier.
It's
Much,
it's
yeah.
like real world stuff, not like somebody with 9
Yeah.
wives. And
Harold, remember when we learned this with Svika?
oh yeah, long time ago. Yeah,
Pesach Pasua.
that
He
was
spent,
Pesach
He
the
spent-
first thing. Yeah.
he spent 6 or 7 Shabbosim on that.
Pesach Pesuach.
Zach Basuak, yeah.
Yeah. My father tells me a story when he was 14, they went to yeshiva in New York. Had a Rebbe who was from Europe. He don't know English. A Rebbe kept a kid in the class of 14 says, Rebbe, what's mean Pesach Pesuach? And the Rebbe couldn't explain to him. A man comes in right in the house. A man comes in the house and he finds the Pesach, but the door is effing. What do you mean the door is open? He couldn't explain to it. He couldn't speak, couldn't speak
That's
Yiddish.
funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
the kid, Pesach Pasua, and the kid insisted on what it meant, Pesach Pasua. A man come around in the house and gefunden the tier effen, and he broke the seat. Imagine that you're the European rabbi. He's trying to
Of course,
explain
they're
to
always.
American kid, Pesach Pasua, the tier is effen. The tier is effen.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm
Mark
sure
was telling.
eventually he got the point.
I'm sure he was only 14, but I guess it takes some time to get. Mark tells me he was in the yeshiva guy, and they were learning about Bia Shalokadarka.
Oh,
So a kid was asking, Rebbe, what's Bia Shalokadarka? So the Rebbe says to him, and Bia Shalokadarka, you know? Yeah, Bia Shalokadarka, you know?
that you know.
Yeah, 14-year-old kid, A Bia Shalokadarka, you know? What's Bia Shalokadarka?
That's the perfect response.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh,
All
well.
right. It's
All right.
801.
Did you golf today? Ernie, did you golf today?
No, I was in the office.
Oh, Alan says there's a golf tournament
I know, but
on a Monday. Yeah,
I mean, I have to be told way in advance in order to
right. Move it around.
schedule. I guess I just didn't know that I wasn't aware. I would have gone. Okay, we're on Hey Omid Aleph. So we said that you're not allowed to have your first relation with your wife Motzei Shabbos. He said Lo Yivo Be'erev Shabbos v'lo b'Motzei Shabbos. Why? Mishum Cheshbonos. Because if they're going to get married Saturday night, he's going to be spending, he has to make a Suda at night. And then he's going to think a whole Shabbos about the needs for the Suda. Oh, hi, Walter. That's really a Mesiras Nefesh from going from the golf. Hi, Esty. Esty and Walter listening to the Daf, probably in the car on the way back. Hi, Walter.
Hi.
Okay. So we said that a person doesn't get married Saturday night, mishum cheshbonos, because if they're going to have to make the wedding feast Saturday night, he's going to be spending all of Shabbos thinking about the needs of the Suda, and in Yeshaya, it's the Dover Dovar. That you cannot be oisek in business thinking about money matters on Shabbos. Amarle Abaya, the cheshbonos shel mitzvah mi'asiri. Doing calculations related to mitzvah is not prohibited on Shabbos. V'arav Chizv Rav Nun Amar Tavayu, cheshbonos shel mitzvah mutar l'chashrim b'Shabbos. If, for example, we sell aliyas, we make an appeal for Yavna or any charity, it's cheshbon shel mitzvah, and it's mutar on Shabbos. V'amar Rav Elazar Poiskin stokel aniyim b'Shabbos. You can collect charity, you can conduct an appeal for it stuck on Shabbos. V'amar Rav Yaakov V'amar Rav Yechnam, holchin lebatik nesiyos lebatik midrashos lefakech al iskei rabim b'Shabbos. You can go around to the shuls and the yeshivas on Shabbos. Let's say the city needs a sewer. The city has other tzorchim. You're allowed to go around and collect on those and discuss that. Somebody needs help, pikuach nefesh. You're allowed to go around and make a collection on Shabbos. In the times of the Romans, they had theaters and circuses. Maybe there was a person who was taken captive, who was going to be thrown to the lions or to the gladiators. You could go to these places on Shabbos to try to save people. You're allowed to discuss shidduchim with your friends to marry off your children on Shabbos. You can talk with the menahel of the school to discuss tuition, or even to teach them a profession. That's why we have one of the Zmiras, and it all comes from this Gemara. Elam Rav Zera. So why can't we get married Saturday night? What's the problem? He's going to think about preparing the wedding. It's allowed. So Elam Rav Zera, we're concerned that he's going to shech the chicken on Shabbos for the Suda, because he's going to forget that it's Shabbos. He's so occupied, says Rashi. Maybe if Yom Kippur falls on a Monday, we should push it off. You're also going to shecht on Shabbos. You have to eat Erev Shabbos, which starts Motzei Shabbos. You have to eat Erev Yom Kippur. Whoever eats on Erev Yom Kippur, it's as if you fasted. So maybe we should have a Gzeira to push Yom Kippur off to Tuesday, because people forget shech the chicken on Shabbos. So Hasam de la nafshe lo Torah. Yom Kippur, it's only for himself. He's not going to forget. Hacha de la cherin Torah. You're preparing a wedding feast for a lot of people, you're going to forget. Inami, another answer. Hasam isle ravacha. There's time. You don't have to eat motzei Shabbos for Yom Kippur that starts Sunday night. You can eat Sunday. But here we're talking about making the wedding feast Saturday night. You have less time to cook the chicken. Maybe a person will come to shech the chicken on Shabbos. Oh, says the Gemara, now that you came up with that there, it's Erev Shabbos Nami. We said before, you don't get married Erev Shabbos because you're going to make a chabura the first time you have relations with your wife. It's going to cause a wound. You're not allowed to make a wound on Shabbos. But now we can say, Gzeir Shem Yishchot Benov. Also, Friday night, you'll come to shech the chicken. Iboilu. Psula Nisas Praviv and Ivels Pravi. Do we say they get married on Wednesday and they have relations Wednesday? And that's not a problem. We're not concerned that by Thursday morning his anger at not finding her to be a psula is cooled off. Oh, Dilma, we are concerned about that. And therefore, we want them to have relations only Wednesday night into Thursday. Psula Nisas Praviv and Ivels B'chamishi. The Chayshin because then there certainly will not be a lot of time elapsed between when he finds that she wasn't the Basula and when he goes to Bezdin Thursday morning. Toshma. The Tony Bar Kapor, Basula Nisas Praviv and Ivels B'chamishi. A Basula gets married on Wednesday in the daytime, but she has relations with her husband Wednesday night. On embraces on Thursday, on the fifth day, it says to the fish, Pru urvu umiluas hamayim. So since there's a bracha, Pru urvu, with the fish, there's a concept of having relations Wednesday night. Almon, and this is B'chamishis, V'nevelis B'shishis. An almana gets married on Thursday, has Be'ilah Thursday night, and so which is Yom HaShishi. Hoil v'nemrabo bracha la'adam. Because it says to Adam, Pru urvu. Okay, time mishum bracha. The reason we're moving these days is because of the bracha. But it's like now we're concerned about cooling off and going to bed. How come the almana doesn't get relations on Thursday? There's a bracha for dogim. And for Tigmar bracha dogim adifalei. The bracha given to human being on Friday is better. V'inami mishum shoktu. Or because the Chachamim were concerned to take care of Jewish girls. If you can marry an almana on Thursday and have relations on Thursday, so on Friday, he's going to go to work. He's not going to be occupied with his new wife. Shoktu Chachamim al Takonos Bnei Yisrael she'esamech ima shloisha yomim. They made a takana that they'll have a 3-day party. They'll have the party Chamishi. Erev Shabbos, Friday is the day that they have relations. The Shabbos, ma'ika ben bracha l'shoktu. What's the nafkamina between the reason of the bracha versus the reason of this? Ta'ika b'nai adam batel. A person doesn't work. So he can stay up. We're not worried about going to work. Then you have the bracha of dogim or adam. Where a person's not going to work. Anyways. Dorish par kapar. The handiwork of tzaddikim are greater than HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating the world. Af yadi yasta eretz. My hand caused the foundation of the earth. The Yemini, my right hand, Tipcha Shomai. V'il b'maisi dev shel tzadikim si machon l'shiftecha po'ato Hashem. Migdash ad Hashem korenu yadecha. By binyan beis hamikdash, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a partner. And korenu yadecha refers to two hands. Heishiv bavli echad. Rav Chishma v'yabeshes yadav yatzaru. I, Hashem, used two hands to create. And for the Gemara, Yado Ksiv, it says Yado. We read it, Yadov. But Yado refers to his one hand. V'haksiv Yatsaru, which is plural. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Yatzru Etzba'osam. It's referring to his fingers. Kedichsiv, Ki era shamecha ma'aseh etzbosecha. We see the work of your fingers, Yarech v'koichavim, the moon and the stars. Asher konanta. Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha. Hashemayim misaprin kvod el. The heavens tell the story of the honor of Hashem. Umayse yodav magid rakia. The work of his hands are the constellations. So it's not one hand; it's plural. Hachi kamer masli dem shel tzadikim mi magid. Who is telling the praises of the handiwork of tzadikim harakia? It comes from heaven. My new motor. Rain. When the tzaddikim daven, it rains. That's the Maisi Yadayim Shel Tzaddikim. Dorsh Parkapot, my dachsi v'yased lecha al azeinecha. You shall, in the desert, they were told to create like a bathroom. And al tikra azeinecha ela al oiznecha. It's referring to your ear. Shim yishma adam davar she'eino hagun. A person hears a juicy piece of lashon hara. Yaniach etzbo be'ozo. He says, put your fingers. Your fingers were created the way they were to perfectly fit in your ear. It's amazing. It's amazing. Put your finger in your ear. It's a perfect fit. I mean, we take it for granted, but the Gemara is telling us that that's why we were created this way. Why are the fingers like a peg? My timer, because they're separated. Each finger has its own purpose. Zu, the pinky, zeres, and that from the zeres to the thumb, that's how they measured the choshen. This finger, right? This finger, zu kmitza. When you start picking up the flour, the Kohen, when he does this, the kmitza, he puts his fist in, he starts with that finger. Zu amma. Because if you measure from the shoulder to the tip, that's how you measure an amma. Zu etzba. That's how they used to dip their etzba in the blood and put the damak karbonis on the mizbeach. Zeh goydel, the thumb, is the blood and the oil for the purification of the mitzvah goes on the thumb. So the Gemara asks, well, why do you have each finger? For each finger has a purpose. Why are they shaped like a peg? If a person hears something that's a bad word, lashon hara, you're supposed to put your finger in your ears. How come our earlobe is so soft? You can stick your earlobe in your ear. Person shouldn't speak nonsense to his ears. In a fire, the first part of a person that gets burnt is the ears. They're very soft and they can be singed very quickly. Now, the Gemara now is going to go through a very nice analysis. What's wrong with having relations with your wife for the first time on Shabbos? The Gemara seemed to assume there was a problem. Do we say dam mifkid pokid? Maybe the blood that comes out after the first time you have relations, it's blood that sort of has gathered behind the hymen. It's ready to, it's not swallowed up in the tissue where you have to make a wound and it comes out by making a wound. But no, the hymen like closes the door. And when you open it, it just comes out. And that would mean that you're not making a chabura. So, da mifkid pocket or chaburi michber.
Why don't we say it's a dochalosas?
Or do we
It's
say
an
the
ed-
dam mayotze de chabura huba? Shadoifen mispart mechaver. The two walls of the hymen separate and it bleeds. So, im tim tzolomer da mifkid pocket. Even if you're going to tell me that there's no chabura, but rather the blood is gathered, and by opening up through bia and it pours out, why? What is his kavana? Does he want the blood? The damu tzarech, and then mishori. Now, if you wanted the blood and the blood was just gathered, and you didn't make a chabura, then it might not be osir. Oy dilma lepesach utzarech. Maybe you want to make an opening there. Well, by opening up the hymen, you now have an opening. And you want that opening. The osir. And therefore, it would be prohibited. Now, let's say we're going to go lakula. That it's mifkid pocket, right? There's no chabura. The blood gathers, and what you want is the blood. You need fertilizer. You needed the blood. Upesach b'meila ka'asi. The Pesach comes about as a side effect, not because you wanted it. You're not miskavein to create the Pesach. So the shaila would be halacha krab shemin the Omer davar shem miskavein mutter. We had, for example, in the Masechta Shabbos multiple times fundamental machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon said, if I drag a bench from one corner of a room to another and there is dirt, and I make a ditch. So if I didn't have kavanah to make the ditch, I'm potter. In fact, it's permitted. So the fact that he didn't want or care about the Pesach, so it's a davar shem miskavein, and therefore would be permitted. Oh, halach Rabbi Yehuda davar shem miskavein also. Even if he didn't want the Pesach, according to Rabbi Yehuda, davar shem miskavein is prohibited. Even if we say the halach is like Rabbi Yehuda, mekalkel waits la Pesach. Rabbi Yehuda holds that if you do something, but it's a kilkul, for example, when we open a potato chip bag and we destroy it by tearing it open, that etzem is a kilkul, and it's not a malacha. Because you need a malacha's tikkun. Oh, misakin waits la Pesach. Or no. Maybe it's considered you want that Pesach and it's a tikkun. So the Gemara has gone through all of this to show that perhaps even according to Rabbi Yehuda, who normally is machmir by davar shem miskavein, here it's a kilkulates la Pesach, if all the other things are correct. Now,
why don't we say it's a dochalosas? It's a pruvu against losas of chabura. I mean, very easy.
yeah, because Elazar, first of all, I'll answer number of ways.
First, you can't get pregnant the first time.
First of all, remember we already had a discussion. What's the mitzvah? Is it when you have the child? That's the mitzvah. When you have so that we have to go into that. Number two, anytime. So, for example, Bayom Hashmini Yimol. So the 8th day comes where you need Milah, so you need Milah. You can't push it off. But here you could, if you have the opportunity to avoid using Asay Doichalos Asay, you have to avoid it. So you make the wedding on a Thursday instead of on a Friday. See what I'm saying? You're not forced why should you do asay doichelot asay when you can make the wedding not on Shabbos and therefore you don't have to invoke asay doichelot asay?
Maybe you can say that.
Not maybe.
Any
Whenever we have
mitzvah
the
you can push.
Like when you have the opportunity to do 2 mitzvahs, whatever, you try to do both of them. So you try to do it correctly. You wouldn't do lechatchil. Now, Mila comes around on the 8th day. You have no choice.
Yeah.
So there you invoke asay doichelos asay.
Okay, good answer.
It's a good point. I didn't see anybody bring it up, but it's something to discuss. See, Rashi, they talk about psik reisha. Tosfos and Rashi talk about psik reisha. Mekakal etzel chabura. Anyways, let's learn the ikadiyamim. This is going to begin the sugya of Pesach Pasua. I mean, this is a very famous sugya here. Maybe you'll say no. The dam isn't gathered behind a wall and you open up the wall and it flows out. The blood is in the tissue when you make a chabura. But it's only you make the chabura l'damu tzarach v'aser. On Shabbos, we are over Shabbos if you do a melechas machshavas that was needed for the Mishkan. So there in the Mishkan, they use the blood for fertilizer. That's why they were killing an animal, the chalazim, or so they needed the blood, the ink, or whatever. It's l'damu tzarach. Oh, dilma lanas for sure. No, the purpose of the be'ilah was for pleasure, and then do with the dam. And therefore, even though you made a chabura, you didn't do it for that's malacha shetzrich legufa. You didn't do the malacha for what it's usually intended for, which is for the blood.
First of all, by an animal is one thing. By a human being, do we ever have a case where a man would do it for the blood of the?
But Elazar, the principle holds. We learn all 39 malachos from the avodas hamishkan. When they killed the chilazon and got the blood, they needed the blood, not anything else. So it's not that you wanted the chilazon. For example, when you shecht an animal, you don't want the blood, you want to eat the animal. But in the Mishkan, the purpose was to get the blood. So if you're opening up the chabura here, not for the blood, then you're not going to be chayiv because you didn't do melechas machshavas. So do we say v'imtim solanos atzmotzach v'dam melakasi? So halachic Rab Yudah, halachic Rab Shimon. So the davar shein miskavein again, or I would say more. What is the purpose of the malacha? Is it like Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Shimon? Imtiv like Rabbi Yehuda, mekaka b'chabura, mesakin b'chaburuhu. Is the chabura a kilkul or a takana? Imtiv so mekaka b'chabura, mekaka like Rabbi Yehuda, which is permitted, or like Rabbi Shimon. So we'll have the answer tomorrow. Very good, everybody.
Sure.
I still get tomorrow.